us on Instagram at KBLA 1580.
Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Watch out, road boy. You see a time boss come, man. She just come down.
I'm going deep.
I don't really wanna feel like I'm in a daze, so I smoke big kill just to deal with the ills. Life is flipping on me, drip. My skills ain't paying bills, and it's messing with me in my grip. I drink that Saint shit and smoke a ticket at the same time. Drop a wicked bomb on my naughty nature. I'm living foul like a nigga rock a trick. I'm not that going to sleep, but I'm lost. Cause I be on some old, I'm tired of brothers trying to come up off women type thing. And if I don't react the way he want, he might swing his little dick stuff in another direction, then don't even use protection. I hate foolishness that people can't avoid. Yo, and if worse came to worse, I run abroad on unemployed. Cause who the hell cares that I got gray hairs and can't sleep? Know what I mean?
Welcome in. Happy Monday. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Got to take a moment to shout out the rapper Boss, Lachelle Marie Laws. Snoop Dogg announced that she passed away today. She was 53. Yeah, she was going to be 54 later this year. Not sure the cause. She was one of the early signings to Def Jam West. That obviously was her single right there. She also was signed to Columbia. She was spotted, I guess, back in the day on a track with DJ Quick and AMG. Russell Simmons liked the track, and he ended up signing her to Def Jam West. She was one of the, early hardcore female rappers putting it down, and a lot of people thought she was from the West Coast because she was signed to Def Jam West. Shout out to Fahima in the chat. Welcome in. So welcome to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. This, of course, is the show where we hit all the trending topics across entertainment, sports, lifestyle, and culture with me, your host, Jill Munroe. And as I said, shout out to Andy for, shouting out Boss. When we get more on the details of her untimely passing, we will certainly pass that information along. Now, as for tonight and the topics that we're going to get into, it's been all over the internet. We talked about it when the rumors first started maybe a month back. Draya Michele, you know her from Basketball Wives. Her swimwear line, Mint Swim. She's an influencer. She's 39 years old. And on International Women's Day last Friday, she announced that she is pregnant with a baby girl. She did not name the father, but she has been dating Houston Rockets star Jalen Green since about last summer, maybe a little earlier. Jalen is 22 years old, so there's a lot of outrage. So we're going to get into that, some of the reaction to that, and talk about, is it wrong? Is it inappropriate? So we're going to get into that. We are also going to talk about in hour two, there was a scuffle on the court between LSU and South Carolina for the SEC title, women's basketball this weekend. There's a lot of commentary on what happened in the incident, but following it up, Kim Mulkey, the head coach of LSU, had some commentary, and some are questioning if it was appropriate. So we're going to get into her commentary, some of the actions that happened with that, get into that. We're also going to talk about, a lot happened in regards to International Women's Day, so to speak. Also on Friday, LeBron James did not play in the Lakers' victory on Friday, but there was chatter online about his conversation with Jeannie Buss and her BFF and Lakers executive, Linda Rambis. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too, and appropriateness and marriage and things of that nature. And later on, we're going to get into, I don't know if you've checked out Netflix Love is Blind. The reunion show is coming up this week on the the 13th. But there's been a lot of conversation around two cast members, Clay and AD, and what ultimately happened at the altar, and Clay's parents, a conversation that they had. And it gets into generational infidelity and trauma. And the conversation has sparked a lot of online conversation, and that's what we do here. So we're going to talk about that. So that's what's on the agenda tonight. But before we get into all of that, we're going to get into a couple of conversation starters. You know, these are things, topics that we don't have time to get into the full story, but I want to make you aware. Oh, side note, not really a side note, but just a reminder, if you are not already following us on social media, hit us up, KBLA 1580. I'm, of course, at Stiletto Jill everywhere. Holla, say hi. We're also on YouTube. If you want the visual experience to go along with this audio experience, the chat's always active. You can drop your commentary in there. Or, if you're feeling like it, hop on those phone lines, 800-920-1580. Give us a call. Let me know your thoughts. I'm really curious about some of tonight's topics. I'd love to hear from you. So let's get to these conversation starters. March 19th, Dr. Dre is being honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It is probably long overdue. You know, there's still conversation in regards to Dre, if he should still be being honored, if there are awards that should be after his name. You know, and the question sort of is, at what point does your past become that? It's a tough question. We've been grappling with that a lot over the last few years. Dre is one of those. We know about the situation with Dee Barnes when she was the host of Pump It Up. We also know about allegations that Michele put forward, as well as Dre's now ex-wife, Nicole. So we'll have to get into that at another time, but shout out to Dre for his honoree on March 19th. Congratulations are also in order for Bobby Brown and his wife, Alicia Etheridge Brown. Shout out to Alicia. I've known Alicia for a very long time. The couple received honorary degrees from Leaders Esteem University. So, you know, welcome that in. We also talked about that New Edition has extended their Vegas residency. I think that's a really good spot for them, to have the audience come to them. They don't have to deal with travel. They can run and do what they do. I think it's going to be a good thing. Also, you know, this is so disappointing. Apparently, there are some grammatical and spelling errors on Kobe Bryant's statue down at Crypto.com Arena, Staples. Apparently, some teammates' names were misspelled, Jose Calderon and Von Wafer, as well as the word decision in coach's decision. I'm sure that they're going to get those repaired, but how are we slacking on Kobe's statue? How did that not make it through the quality control check? So on the other side, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. We're going to get into this Draya Michele and Jalen Green topic. We're also going to give you a Kanye and Northwest update. All that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
More when we come forward.
Climate is king.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that caring for the community means caring about the climate. You might have heard that we announced a pretty bold 12-month, $2 million campaign to do 4 things. Increase climate literacy, turn up the volume on communities of color in the climate conversation, connect everyday people with the resources they need to survive and thrive, and highlight frontline climate justice crusaders of color throughout this year. KBLA Talk 1580 will be bringing you insightful interviews on all of our shows to help raise your climate IQ. Each quarter this year, we will also be hosting free climate events in various communities throughout the city with food, fun, and forward-thinking conversations. Thanks to partners like LADWP, Metro, Caltrans, the Sierra Club, the California Community Foundation, the California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, We believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA reminds you that when we fight, we win, and we don't black down. LA Community Action Network, or LA CAN, was formed in 1999 when 25 residents of downtown LA came together and acknowledged the problems that existed in their community and made a commitment to do something about those problems, to stand together, organize, and become a force in the community that demands change. Civil rights and preventing the criminalization of poverty are their core projects. In addition, they take on women's rights, the human right to housing, and healthy food access. LA CAN also has projects focused on economic development, civic participation, voter engagement, and community media. While downtown LA remains their home base, with a particular emphasis on the Skid Row community, in 2007, they expanded their housing and healthy food access work into South Central Los Angeles. LA CAN believes that power for low-income people and people of color is achieved through a large, active, and well-informed member base that utilizes a multitude of methods to advance their messages and goals. If you'd like to join the Los Angeles Community Action Network and organize people to fight back against oppression, please visit cangress.org. That's cangress.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So before we get fully into the Draya Michele thing, I want to shout out Davine Joy Randolph and Cora Jefferson. Davine, of course, won the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for her role in The Holdovers. And I think she is number 10 as far as Black women. And her acceptance speech was about accepting herself and, finding your path. So if you haven't checked it out, it is really an important and amazing thing about, believing in yourself and accepting you. She talked about wanting to fit in and learning that her superpower essentially was being herself in all the glory. She started out wanting to be in the music side of entertainment, actually, but someone saw a light in her. She said her mother told her one time, you need to go across the street and get into what they're doing as far as performing arts. So talk about speaking life into others, speaking, favor over people. It's important. So shout outs to her. Also shout out to Cord Jefferson. He is the writer and director of American Fiction, which is loosely based on the book Erasure. And, there's a lot of conversation about the film and the adaptation and whether or not it stayed true to the book and some things that are missing. There's been a lot of conversation around the subject and idea that the hood is the only way that things can get made now, relating to that, when we've had so many examples of other types of programming that have been successful and succeeded in the current era. So I advise you to check it out and judge it for yourself. If you recall, a few weeks back, I had interviews with the stars Jeffrey Wright and Sterling K. Brown in reference to the film. It is, an interesting topic. I also stand by the idea that some of the hard things about entertainment and what we collectively like in Black culture is the understanding and admittance that sometimes we like some of the not refined stuff, I guess you could call it, some of the lesser aspects of culture, some people feel like, and we support that. And we have to reconcile how that runs against the other side of it, the desire to see different stories and different environments and things of that nature, and us supporting it with our dollars. So that is kind of it on that. So let's get into this Draya Michele conversation because it has got people buzzing. So on Friday, International Women's Day, Draya Michele posted a photo photos of herself from a maternity shoot, just her alone, looking beautiful as expected. It has been talked about, as I mentioned, that she's been hiding a pregnancy. There was a video of her a couple months ago, maybe 2 months ago, in overalls and Crocs at a game, looking very dressed down from what we are used to seeing from Draya Michele. Just a little backstory if you're unfamiliar with Draya. A lot of people came to be familiar with her when she appeared on Basketball Wives. Part of the reason that she ended up on that cast was that Laura Govan was a cast member along with her sister Gloria. And Laura's children's father is Gilbert Arenas, who is now retired and we know has his podcast, Gil's Arena, and is very outspoken about a lot of things. And he and Laura have, I believe it's 4 children together. And at the time, during the course of their relationship, Gilbert and Draya had a relationship. Gilbert actually moved Draya to Los Angeles, or paid for her move here. There's also stories about Draya when she was younger, and she has a son who is 22 years old. His name is Nico. And she left him. Draya was a former stripper. She left him at home alone while she went to work. He was about 7 or 8 years old, and there's a police report that surfaced, and the condition of the home was quite messy. Nico had to make TV dinners himself in the microwave, and, not a situation that a child should be in. She also famously said in a Breakfast Club interview that your wholeness can be deleted, which people found outrageous. But I think realistically, if you think about it, people go through phases all the time, and they outgrow that behavior, that thought process, that mindset, and they move past it. I know people don't like to see women evolve, and maybe we have a hard time having that conversation based on the facts that we're going to get to. But I do believe to a certain degree that realistically your wholeness can be deleted. You can move out of those spaces, that mindset, those activities that you may have had or were beholden to at one point in your life. That's what life is all about: growth and experiences, and moving forward with the ones that work and discarding the ones that don't work for you and taking the lesson from them. All right. Now that I've given you some background, let's fast forward to Women's International Day on Friday and Draya's post. She said, "Happy International Women's Day. As women, we navigate through so much, often leading us to question, what is my purpose? For me, the magic lies in motherhood and the awe-inspiring ability to bring life into this world over the span of 2 decades. It's my superpower, and if anything can surpass the wonder of being a woman, it's the privilege of bringing another woman into existence. We are overjoyed to share it." Now, she said we. So, I'm assuming that means Daddy gave it the green light, right? "We are overjoyed to share our love for you, little girl. I am excited to speak words to the daughter I never thought I'd have. We are anxious about your arrival, but take your time. This world can be tough, but know you are being brought into a space of love, security, and adornment. 28 weeks, 7 months, coming May 2024, Girl Mom." Shout out to the Taurus babies in the world. So this is the thing. Draya has a 22-year-old son named Nico. Pretty Brown Mimi asks, does Gilbert Arenas have children by Evelyn Lozada, or is that another player that you are thinking of? You are thinking of another player. Evelyn Lozada has a son by baseball player Carl Crawford, and that is her only child by an athlete. She was engaged to Antoine Walker for many years. Shout out to Twan. And she was married for a short time period to Chad Ochocinco Johnson. As I said, Gilbert's children, his oldest children are with Laura Gavon, and he has a younger daughter with Lindsay. Can't remember Lindsay's last name. I'm blanking on it. Lindsay Falk. She is also the ex-wife and mother to former NFL star Marshall Falk. They have children. The connection also with that is Marshall Falk has an older son by Candace Fisher, who is Derek Fisher's ex-wife. Derek Fisher is now currently married to Gloria Govan, whose children are the cousins of Gilbert and Gloria Govan's children. So are you following all that? I haven't even thrown Matt Barnes in the mix. You know, Matt Barnes and Gloria Govan have two twin boys who are the stepbrother to Marshall Falk, the cousins to Gilbert Arenas' older children, and the step siblings to Derek Fisher's children. Y'all got all that? It's a lot, right? So let's slide back over here to Draya. So Draya and Gilbert did date. She has an older son, Nico. Nico is 22, the same age as Jalen. She has a younger son with former NFL player Orlando Scandrick. Orlando he had two twin daughters that were older from a prior relationship. He now has a daughter with a former NBA star. And listen, that's a lot of dots connected, a lot of families intertwined. People are upset with Draya because they feel as though she preyed on Jalen. He's 22 years old. He's the same age as her son. This is something that, one, you have to realize these guys grew up much like back in the day, maybe younger guys grew up looking at celebrities. They grew up looking at these Instagram vixens, the women on Basketball Wives, and the women are attractive. They are, of course, someone that someone would desire to be with. I doubt she had to do much because these men, younger men, are pursuing it. We've talked about it with Bernice Burgos. She was dating Jalen Brown of the Boston Celtics. They're no longer dating. Brittany Renner took a lot of heat for her relationship with PJ Washington. She's like 7 years older than him. She has a child with him. Anna Montana, that is her Instagram name. Anna Chavalis, I believe, is her last name. She is dating LaMelo Ball. She's in her 30s. LaMelo's like 22. And we could go on and on. This isn't new. By the way, I could point you in the direction of some former athletes from the 90s, the 2000s, that have children with older women, some of them being athletes, former wives, baby mamas, etc. This is something that has been happening. It's not new. It's just more open now. And I think, people are like, Draya groomed him. Well, I kind of don't think that is the case because she was not around when he was younger. Words mean things. And again, I understand in my mind view, it's nothing wrong with you dating somebody that is that much younger, having a good time, enjoying the situation. Like I said, more than likely, he put the hard press on her. And let's not to mention, when they first started dating, there were a lot of rumors surrounding Jalen. And a lot of people felt that this relationship was a relationship to put a cover on some of the rumors that were surrounding Jalen. There were some videos that were released when he was in college, doing horseplay with his friends. People have their opinions on what was or was not happening in those videos and what that potentially means. But be that as it may, a short time after that, he and Draya were spotted together. So who knows? Maybe Jalen is the one that plotted on Draya. We don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? But they are in a situation. And they're moving forward with the pregnancy. Andy?
Groomed or not, I'm pretty sure Jalen put the pressure on Draya. You got to understand, most dudes, we like a cougar. We want a cougar. We want an older woman. Just like women want older men.
They do.
So I do not think that Jalen Green was groomed. I mean, hell, if he walked into a bar, he is of age. If he walked into a bar, I mean, he could low-key pass for 30-something years old.
I mean, even still, like, even if grooming is a specific behavior. And I know people are also talking about, like, oh, if the situations were reversed, people would not be this, open about it. Well, I don't know, because P. Diddy and Miami had a lot of go girls shouted out. Do you know what I'm saying? We've seen this type of situation happen for eons and eons and eons. What I will say in reference to what the difference is generally with men and women, especially if we're talking about in this space, with men that are older, generally with this woman, they have money And if you think about the Cassie situation, or even just with the Young Miami situation, not only can they provide them money, they can provide them career advancement. Draya, while maybe making him hot in the social media streets, not saying that he needed that, but a super couple, a power couple, a couple, gets more attention. Draya doesn't control what happens with Jalen's contract. She has no influence on what happens with his NBA deal. She does not impact. She can't get in with his agent and make the negotiations for him. I understand the other side of it. You're saying, oh, she was looking to lock it down and secure her future for 18 years. Now, on the other side, we're going to get to it in a second, but there is, an opinion from Teray Hart. We got Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco Johnson talking about it. We got a little Gil Arenas and Nick Young talking about it. And we got a little Cam and Mace. I will say this, right? Again, is it ideal? Of course not. Do we wonder what his parents are saying? Yeah. But I also keep in mind the rumors that were surrounding him and that this relation, and I'm not saying the rumors were true. I am simply saying he probably pursued that, and it's not as if he is not aware as to how a baby gets made and what happens. Apply pressure. That's all I'm saying. Andy?
He probably tricked on her, too.
Oh, of course he did. I mean that goes without saying.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I know that people frown on that. I'm here to tell you that, especially early on, it is fun to be able to buy time, affection, or to spend nicely on a young lady or an old lady, however you want to turn it. They enjoy it. It's like a rite of passage. It is something to do because they have the money to do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Do they want to do it to everybody? No, probably not. May it burn out? Maybe. But there are some that are in for the long haul. If you get with him, you're going to have a good time and some good gifts. Look at Rick Ross. I'm here for a good time and not a long time. Old girl should have learned that. But, Pretty Brown Mimi says, did Diddy really advance Cassie's career? I don't know. I don't know if he advanced it, but he put out music on her. I mean, that is, a situation on what he wanted to do. But according to her, that's why she stayed in the situation. So regardless as if he did or did not, he allegedly implied that he could do so, or she believed that he could do so. And that is why she continued on with the relationship. So that's a power dynamic, and that's different. Pretty Brown Mimi also says, when a 39-year-old man dates a 22-year-old woman, no one says anything. Double standards. Sometimes they do. They're saying more stuff now, but it was definitely more common back in the day. When we come forward, we'll have more on this trending topic in headlines. I know Andy has some commentary. I want to hear from him, and I want to hear from you. So drop it in the chat or hit us up. You are locked in with RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. News and sports is on the other side.
Ain't making nobody sense, but then again, it's probably all that chronic that I smoked. I used to be like that when I was out just laying dope, and lately I've been flipping on some old paranoid, like looking suckers up and down, trying to start. I try to be cool, but I get caught up when I go to club. Straight up, I don't even trust myself. You can trust me. How you figure that?
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The U.S. Embassy is evacuating non-essential staff members from Haiti as gang violence grips the Caribbean nation. The U.S. Southern Command says American military forces are assisting the operation and helping provide security at the request of the State Department. Families of diplomats and others were reportedly being airlifted out of the capital city of Port-au-Prince to safety. President Biden is calling on Congress to work with his administration to lower health care costs. While speaking in New Hampshire, the president outlined his health care agenda, which includes expanding the Affordable Care Act and capping out-of-pocket drug costs for seniors on Medicare. He contrasted his plan with Republican lawmakers who he says wants to repeal Obamacare. And Muhammad Ali will be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame next month. And that's the latest. I'm Esther Dillard from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Can't wait weeks for your tax refund? Then don't. At Jackson Hewitt, get money today if you're approved for a no-fee refund advance loan on a prepaid card. Book today at jacksonhewitt.com. No-fee refund advance offered to eligible clients. Application required. Loans by Republic Bank. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at KBLA 1580.
Follow the leader.
Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
LADWP is proud to partner with KBLA to share with you how to start the new year without bill worries. We're here to help if you're behind on your bill or need help staying current. Sign up anytime online for Level Pay to set predictable monthly payments throughout the year, including for past due amounts. You can also check out the special extended pay arrangements of up to 48 months to help pay down your bill. If you're a senior or income qualified, you may be eligible for Easy Save to receive discounts and also qualify for free and discounted energy and water saving devices. You can get up to $15,000 for past due water and or sewer bills and up to $3,000 for electric bills. But you gotta act fast. Funding is limited. You can reduce your past due bills and kick off the year right, because here at LADWP, we're here to help. Visit ladwp.com/cares today and find out more.
Do you have both Medi-Cal and Medicare?
If so, the new LA Care plan called Medicare Plus can help you get the most out of your health plan for $0.
LA Care provides personalized service to Angelinos like us.
Plus, it gives us access to doctors and specialists across Los Angeles County.
For zero cost, we get access to full benefits.
From vision coverage,
in-home support services,
To prescription drug coverage.
And a quarterly over-the-counter allowance.
plus personal equipment.
Meal programs.
A gym membership.
And so much more.
For more than 25 years,
LA Care has provided Angelinos with access to quality health care at an affordable cost.
For our families,
our seniors,
Our community.
it's a plus.
It's a plus.
For all of us.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, home of the 2024 Climate Justice Campaign. KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. Pro Football Hall of Famer and urban peace pioneer Jim Brown believed in just that. So he founded the Amera I Can Foundation for Social Change in 1988, focusing on at-risk and high-risk youth in underserved schools and juvenile detention facilities, as well as adult incarceration and reentry initiatives. The core of the Amera I Can program is its 15-chapter life skills curriculum. Mastery of these skills allows individuals to meet their academic potential, conform their behavior to acceptable societal standards, and improve the quality of their lives by equipping them with what they need to confidently and successfully contribute to society. Today, the foundation is led by its president, Monique Brown, who has been actively involved in the organization for more than 25 years. The Amera I Can Foundation continues its work in memory of its founder, actor, philanthropist, and NFL legend Jim Brown. To get involved or make a donation, please visit AmeriICanCommunity.partners. That's AmeriICanCommunity.partners. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
That was another way. I would smoke once an hour. That didn't work either. All that would happen at some point of the day, I would end up doubling up. Other ways that I tried to quit was I stopped buying cigarettes totally. But if I took 3 puffs off of 15 friends, those didn't count because they weren't my cigarettes and they weren't full cigarettes. I went through a lot.
Every attempt is part of your story to quit for good. Visit Kick It California today at kickitca.org.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga. My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Straight mackin'. Come on. Did I try to tell you, baby? Yeah, straight up and down. You know what I'm about. Cold mackin'. Who's the right, baby?
Ralph Tresvant, just because of the Vegas residency of New Edition. Get lit. Welcome back into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So we are talking about Draya Michele announcing her pregnancy with 22-year-old Houston Rockets star Jalen Green. Jalen is the same age as Draya's oldest son, Nico, who is 22. Nico's in college now. He prefers to keep a lower profile. He's online. He's out there. But, you know, like a lot of kids in Gen Z, he's, you know, not trying to be up with his mom. So listen, there's been a lot of opinions. Draya even followed it up with a story to her Instagram, which said, "Get comfortable being misunderstood. Only a fraction of people will be able to truly grasp your essence. You're not on anyone else's timeline of comprehension." And it also said, "Also, it's none of your business how others choose to perceive you. Most High sees you clearly. Let that be enough." All facts, right? All facts. But people are still like, listen, he's the same age as her son. Does she have any shame? And that part for me is the part that is really the most uncomfortable. And again, we have seen men do it, other people do it, but that is just the part that is a little like, but you know, here we are. And until we hear otherwise, again, Jalen knew who she was when he was holding hands with her, when they were on vacation, when he decided to, you know, pop what he did. I will get into what Shannon Sharp said. We're not going to play some of them because they're a lot, but we're going to talk about what they said. Andy?
To me, that is the big thing. The fact that she has a son that is Jalen Green's age. You know, I remember years ago, I dated this older woman. And, you know, she had a kid. But low-key, I stopped talking to her when I realized her son was my age. And it just felt awkward for me as a man. Like, I'm like, I could probably kick it with your son.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, mom. Like,
y'all could be playing video games together, then you go in and
I fell back from that
mom.
situation. Even though me and her were cool at the time, I fell back from that situation because it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. I mean, yeah, you know, I had this thing about older women or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? I fulfilled that or whatnot, but like to go any further than that, it did feel awkward after. So I just don't see how, like, Draya doesn't like look at herself in the mirror. Like you're kind of like dating your son. Like you don't feel like you said any shame.
I think the thing is that she said in an interview fairly recently, mentioned wanting another child, but didn't know if her relationship would go the distance per se. So again, we don't know what they've talked about or how they set this up. People are also saying they feel that she is too vain to have a girl child and that that girl child is headed for things. I don't know why people would wish things on people like that or say that. I understand, but still, a little mean, don't you think? But to be expected. So Shannon Sharp had this to say. Keep in mind, Shannon Sharp is also of the mindset right now that he would like to date a 20-year-old, no, older than 30. He's 55. Rock out. He says, if people are upset, what are you upset about? This is two consenting adults. Chad, he had a kind of different opinion, but Chad is an instigator on the show, in the Nightcap show, so he kind of doesn't get into all of that. But he said that Green is not smart enough to know when he's been baited. And Shannon Sharp said that Green was old enough to know what he was doing and what he had going on. He said that man is 22. Fertile seed he has. What do you think he thought was going to happen if he keeps giving that woman all that baby gravy? Ill. Ill. I do not like the terminology. Ill. But, I mean, real rap. I do, for people who are like, she's a gold digger and he's gonna get trapped and she can manipulate him to do what? Could a 22-year-old ratchet with a plan not do the same thing? The things that you are worried about can come from any woman who is on that type of time. And, if the agenda is trap him with a baby to get him to pay, you don't need extra age. All you need is the willing participant on the other side. Andy? No. So, I mean, again, not ideal, but also I think words mean things. And the grooming aspect, the pedophilia thing, again, I understand. We can do the math. 17 years older than him means 17 and having her own baby when he was being born. But she wasn't looking at that baby, and that is not where she met him. We've seen Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan. That's a little different, right? She said she didn't know him then. But there's about that much of an age gap, give or take, between the two of them. Maybe a little less, but still significant. Now, granted, they're not talking about having a baby, but they are talking about being married and conceivably Larsa Pippen Jordan. Andy.
If Draya was 59 and Jalen Green was 32, would it be an issue?
People would still say, they would say it was nasty, but it would not be as much of an issue. They feel that he is being taken advantage of, that he doesn't know. And I subscribe to the things that they say he's being taken advantage of by this woman are the same things that he could be being taken advantage of by a younger woman. Again, I get the whole thing, the son, the same age, bit much, right? Whoa. However, he knew that going in, and he might have had his own agenda as well. Shout out to Renia Black in the chat. Thank you for checking in. Shout out to Teal Moss in the chat. Thank you for checking in. So those were Shannon Sharp's comments. Mace and Cam, they weren't so nice. They basically said that, these young basketball players, basically the same thing I said. They grew up watching these women on TV. And it's almost like, Cam compared it to if back in the day he had gotten the opportunity to spit game to Felicia Rashad, Claire Huxtable from The Cosby Show, and would be like, I bagged Felicia Rashad, right? I got Bill Cosby's TV wife when I was 21 or 22. He said, so you can't get mad at the female, first of all. Second of all, Draya announced it. His question was, did she co-sign it? Did Jalen co-sign it? It said we. I believe he did. I see he didn't put out his own, but understandably all the same. And, Mace is like, what if he's happy? But when they discovered that Draya has a son the same age as Jalen, that's when the conversation switched. So we'll get into that on the other side. You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
Tips to help improve your credit score in 2024. Establishing credit is an important key to achieving financial health, but building a credit history from scratch can feel challenging since you need credit to build credit. First, what does it mean to build credit? All consumers have a score between 300 and 850. You want your score to be as high as possible as lenders look at your credit score to make loan and credit decisions. A good credit score shows you have a track record of borrowing money responsibly. Remember, it's never too late to build or rebuild your credit. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase & Company.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 believes in community empowerment. LA's 99 neighborhood councils form the grassroots level of the Los Angeles city government. The system was created to connect LA's diverse communities to City Hall. While neighborhood council board members are volunteers, they are also public officials elected to office by the members of their community. Neighborhood councils advocate on issues like homelessness, housing, land use, emergency preparedness, public safety, parks, transportation, and sustainability. They also provide local expertise on the delivery of city services to their various communities. Neighborhood councils are open to participation by anyone who is a part of the fabric of daily life in said community. This includes those who live, work, or own property or a business. If you are interested in stepping up to join your local neighborhood council, visit www.empowerla.org. That's empowerla.org. It's time to think globally, but act locally. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You were locked in to RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. We're talking Draya Michele, 39 years old. And she announced her pregnancy. She's 7 months pregnant right now with NBA star Jalen Green. He's 22 years old. This is her third child, his first. Renia Black in the chat says, I think it's less than ethical. Sons are involved. I don't think it's right. It's going to be awkward when she's 60 and the BD isn't even 50. Well, you know, it is what it is. Andy?
You know, I've been noticing this trend. I'm the same age as Draya, so, you know, I'm going to put myself in, you know, her little category or whatnot. But I have a handful of male friends who they've stated on several occasions that they don't mind getting women pregnant, but not necessarily being involved. You know what I mean? Like, and I have some female friends over the years who wanted to get pregnant, but didn't care too much for the relationship or whatnot. So could it possibly be, you know, kind of like a Nick Cannon situation where, you know, Dre wanted to get pregnant. Jalen was like, I'll put a seed in you. But Jalen might not necessarily be around or involved. It's like a business transaction. I'm going to get you pregnant, and you do your thug thizzle. You live your life.
It could very well be like that. I mean, there are lots of situations. I mean, for example, there is a former NBA player that I know of that when he was in his 20s, he got involved with the ex-wife of a veteran NBA player. They weren't on the same team, but, same city, around, recognized. And he ended up getting that woman pregnant. And he was a star player with a big contract for the time. She had the baby. Now, a lot of NBA players were mad at him, veterans, because they felt like, why are you over there playing? Even if the ex-wife was, trying to get the young one to replace the old one, whatever the circumstance was. So this isn't the first, third, fifth time. It happens quite a bit. We just have social media now. And there are, the era of the movie star, the celebrity, is changed to the internet influencer. And again, is it ideal? No, but I don't feel as though he was hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray. I do not feel any of that is the case. So continuing on in the conversation that Cam and Mace had, Mace, when he discovered Draya has a 22-year-old son, he said that Jalen has poor shot selection. He should have maybe picked a different target. The jury's out on that, but this is what he did. Again, AE, Amber Rose's youngest son's father, is dating Cher. There is decades of difference in between them. And people have talked about, the yuck side of it, but Cher's always dated younger men. It's one of the things that she is known about throughout her career. I mean, I don't know. They're adults. At some point, and I see a lot of people say, oh, the brain isn't formed until 25 and things of that nature. Listen, there was an age selected when people are adults. I'm not saying this is ideal. Nobody, in theory, of course, people would want something that appears to be better suited, but I don't know what their connection is like. So just to give you a little bit of info on Jalen Green, he was the second overall draft pick in the 2021 draft, right? And there are a lot of expectations around him. Here's the thing people want to know. His mother's not black. She's Filipino. His father's black. People are going to want to know that. They're going to make their own thoughts and conclusions based off of that information, but she is not black. So there you go. He's setting up to be a big deal in Houston and a big contract. It's a lot of money, a lot of zeros there. Can't deny that. And again, they're both legally adults, no matter how you feel about it. Now, there is the thing that at one point in time, Draya was friends with his ex-girlfriend, a woman named Bria Hicks. I think Bria might even have dated Christian Combs, Diddy's son, for a minute. Not sure about that. You can check me on that. But Draya and Bria were friendly for a moment. How friendly were they? Well, this is during the time of Instagram girls being friends. Bad bees link up. So was it a superficial friendship or was it a real friendship? Was she mentoring her or were they just cool for the gram? Don't know. But people move on into different circumstances. Now, Renea Black says, but children aren't chess pieces, though. Maybe they don't want to be involved with the scenario. Very true. They aren't. But what I'm saying is, as far as we know, he's been with her. He was spotted with her during this pregnancy, holding her hand, they aren't Front Street, but they aren't hiding per se either. So, I mean, it kind of is what it is. Tori Hart, Kevin Hart's ex-wife, she added her 2 cents in, and people were not happy, and they feel like, yeah, but if it was your son, because she has a son that is, I think 17, 18 years old, or your daughter who just graduated from high school last year, would you be singing a different tune? Here's what she had to say.
So y'all know y'all can mind y'all business, right? I mean, listen, I'm not mad at Draya at all. Draya, yeah, okay? Everybody in the uproar talking about, oh my God, she old enough to be his mom. Oh my God, his mom probably watched Basketball Wives. And yeah, his mama did watch Basketball Wives. And you know what? He probably watched it with her. And that's why he went after Draya. He wanted some of that cougar. He wanted some of that cougar snatch. He wanted some of that. Don't get it twisted. Listen, if he wanted to pull out, he would have pulled out. He didn't pull out. That cougar had him in a chokehold.
You know, and people are really upset. They're like, oh, it wouldn't be a joking matter if it was your son. Maybe not. I just think at some point you got to let adults be adults. And again, while not ideal, he could be in this same scenario with a girl his age going through the same thing. We have seen young baby mama drama with athletes, very volatile situations. You know, Leash Draya is at the point, and now probably she went through that stuff with the violent things. People are wondering what happened to Tyrod Taylor because she dated him for a minute. He was the quarterback for the Chargers. Then he ended up with the Texans. Things happen. Gilbert Arenas and Nick Young had jokes about, how he used to have Draya back in the day. Again, we saw Laura go at Draya on Basketball Wives over the situation. Draya was like, please don't hit me in my implants. They had a little squabble, a little fake sparring thing, but the emotions were real. So we'll have to see. Pretty Brown Mimi, Cougar what? Why is she commenting on their situation? Because everybody's, just like I'm commenting, and I've just mentioned Shannon Sharp and Chad Ochocinco, Cam and Mace. It is a hot topic because Draya is popular. She has millions of followers on social media. She has dated several other athletes. I just named out about 4 or 5. There's some more that we probably don't know. And, people are interested. They are vested. They want to know what's going on. And again, it is a very different conversation than the one that was happening about 8 months ago surrounding Jalen Green. And also, Jalen had an amazing dunk the other night. So he seems good. I don't know what to tell you. A lot of jokes, but it will be what it is. On the other side, coming up, we're going to get into the scuffle that happened between LSU and South Carolina on Saturday night, the different approaches of the two coaches. Is it right? Is it time to call out Kim Mulkey, the head coach of LSU? Get into that. And, if you have more commentary on Draya, we welcome it. Plus more trending topics and headlines. All of that and more on the other side. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Go deep inside your love, I feel it running. I'll keep it coming. I'll keep it coming. Anytime you want it, baby. Anytime you need it, girl. You got to have it, baby. Oh, what I would do, baby, but what I do. In your land of milk and honey, it's so sweet.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. The U.S.